Good evening. Burgeo Town Council held its regular meeting on March the 15th. The following items were covered. There was a delegation from the fire department to discuss a review that had been completed by Fire and Emergency Services in 2014. The fire department continues to work at keeping up their skills through weekly in-house training exercises, as well as certified training programs completed with trainers from Fire Emergency Services. Council will work with the fire department to address any deficiencies that need to be addressed. Flow rates for water consumption remain high. Council is organizing a meeting to focus on that one specific issue in the very near future. Any leaks that have been detected since our last council meeting has been repaired or the water has been turned off, except for one in the Messrs area. That one may be in the main line, which will require a specific piece of equipment called a buster in order to access it and repair it. The town is exploring either renting or purchasing the equipment required. The water main replacement project, engineers to continue to work on the design, which then has to go to municipal affairs and government engineers for review. Town emergency plan. The town, working in conjunction with the fire department, are working on an emergency plan review, which should occur sometime in April or May, with a tabletop exercise to be scheduled for the fall after the municipal elections. Chase the Ace continues on Monday evenings. The pumper truck fund now has over $67,000. The council pickup truck was out of town for repairs, but it was picked up on Friday. 2 of the town's outside workers will be attending a safe drinking water seminar. The local Halapu band has been provided office space at the town office to work with its residents on appeals. This is only until the appeal process is over on March 31st, 2017. Over the last month, and on behalf of the town, I attended several meetings concerning 1. Waste management. The transfer station construction is on schedule, although there are talks of exploration into other sources of waste disposal. The transfer station will still be required. There have been rumors, for example, that we would be continuing with our waste as we are now, or using an incinerator. That is not the case. The government strategy, which is a provincial strategy, is working on meeting the requirements of having all incinerators closed out. In the western region, they're scheduled to be all closed as soon as possible, but with a date of at least 2020. Government is doing some exploration into such things as high efficiency incinerators and gas emission control and those sorts of things. But those experimentations or those explorations, even if they shift it to alternate sources such as high efficiency incinerators, would still require a transfer station. And of course, the high efficiency incinerator, if that was something that the government decided to go with, one could anticipate that it requires a huge amount of waste that still has to be sorted, and therefore one might assume that it would still be centralized. So for The outlying communities, we would certainly still be using our transfer station and, for all intents and purposes, shipping, which is the plan now. I also met with the Western Regional Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador group that represents all municipalities on the West Coast. At that meeting, we were presented with information on CBDC, Vital Signs, which is a newspaper, or at least a newspaper format. We sometimes have a copy on the counter in the town office, which presents information on research, and it has a variety of stats that might include things like the various population ranges of the regions, the areas that are designated as high areas for diabetes, for example, or heart problems. So there's a variety of research that's done on, that's specific to the province. We also discussed Crown Land amendments, emergency planning, Public Procurement Act, regional government, Bell mobility tax changes, and I mentioned those in my last report, occupational health and safety, wastewater, which is sewer, and things like harassment policies and the benefits of recreation. I also met with Andrew Parsons concerning Route 480. And with regards to Route 480, the following email went out to a local committee and to the town as well. And it reads, directly from Minister Parsons, checked in with the Minister's office and just got a response back, which I have attached here for you. And here's what the Minister of Works Services Transportation had to say. The 2017 Culvert and Levelling Program for Route 480 will include significant levelling similar in scope to what was done last year. The goal at the end of this season would be to have all necessary locations on Route 480, Burgeo Highway, leveled, and in brackets, all rough zones covered with an asphalt surface patch that should last 3 to 5 years. They're scheduled to have 4,250 tons for leveling in the tender. He went on to say the process of selecting areas for leveling will be similar to last year's. Once the culverts are complete, we will select areas for leveling. The major objective of the work on Burgeo Highway this year is to replace culverts we identified as having failed. There is still significant culvert work left to be done on Burgeo Road even after this year's work is complete. There was a significant amount of work done last year to get the road back in shape, and it will continue this year, I'm happy to say. And Andrew finishes with looking forward to continued work on the road over the next few years as well. I also met with Minister Crocker on aquaculture, Mike Rose on aquaculture, and I attended an MMSB forum for all waste regions in the province. And at that meeting, we reviewed the work of each region. We looked at Nova Scotia models and, what their plans have been, what they see as being their deficiencies, and so on and so forth. And we shared knowledge back and forth. And we were provided with an update as to where our province is going. Costs for most of those meetings, especially the MMSB and waste management meetings, are covered outside of council expenses. Upcoming discussions for council. We have to discuss the potential for use of satellite phones on the Burgeo Highway during winter if, for example, we can't get any satisfaction from being for cell phone usage. We're in the process of setting up a meeting with the Barrie Group. And Burgeo will be hosting the Southwest Coast Joint Council meeting, April the 6th, 2017. And we're looking into a possible tour of the Harbour Breton area, meeting with their council and touring the town and the aquaculture industry in that area to educate councillors and staff on the effect that it has on that type of industry has on a specific town. The tourism day is still in the planning process, but if the application is successful, the tentative scheduled date is March 29th. Museum Committee. Council adopted a mission statement, a collection management policy and procedures, and tourism assurance plan as developed and approved by the Museum Committee and government personnel. A letter was read requesting a donation for a project. Although Council supports and encourages various groups and individuals to become involved in projects that help others, owing to town policy, the town does not provide monetary support, but rather will contribute in kind with things like pins, booklets, calendars, and so forth. Councillors were informed that the next annual Municipalities Newfoundland Labrador Symposium is scheduled for May the 4th to the 6th in Gander. Council has listed the completion of the main water line as the town's priority for the 2017-2018 Capital Works application. The deadline for that application is April 21st, 2017. We put in the initial application last year, asking to have the 18-inch line from the water treatment plant down as far as the Midtown area, which would have cost approximately $6 million. For the 2017 year, what we received was $1 million, so that will cover about a sixth of what we'll need. So the remainder will be reapplied for again this year. A motion was made to pay invoices for $7,271.46. And the meeting adjourned at 10:30 p.m. And our next council meeting is scheduled for the third Wednesday in April. Thank you. Have a great evening.